There was something quietly radical about The Big Bang Theory. At a time when television comedies were still obsessed with the beautiful and the aspirational, here came a show about brilliant social misfits who quoted Spock, couldn't talk to girls, and still somehow made you root for them harder than anyone in a more glamorous zip code. It ran for 12 seasons and 279 episodes, becoming the most watched comedy on American television. And it did it by making intelligence feel lonely, and loneliness feel hilarious and occasionally heartbreaking. The apartment at 2311 North Los Robles in Pasadena became as familiar as a second home to tens of millions of viewers. But while that living room, that whiteboard full of equations, that spot on the couch, stayed frozen in memory, the people behind it kept changing. They aged, they married, divorced, and fell in love again. They walked Broadway stages and streamed on Netflix and stepped out of the spotlight entirely. Some of them became parents. One of them left us far too soon. The story of this cast is richer, stranger, and in some cases more moving than anything the writers ever put on that screen. So let's go back to where it all began. Sheldon Cooper is the axis around which the Big Bang Theory revolves. A theoretical physicist of towering genius and almost catastrophic social blindness, whose gradual, grudging opening to the world around him became the show's deepest emotional through-line. The man behind that rigid posture and those metronomic speech patterns was James Joseph Parsons, born March 24, 1973 in Houston, Texas, which made him exactly 34 years old when the pilot aired in September 2007. What Parsons brought to Sheldon was something no casting breakdown could have asked for. A kind of precise physical comedy that belonged more to silent film than network television. Every micro-expression, every almost imperceptible flinch at human contact, every staccato delivery of the word bazinga, it was all the work of an actor who had trained deeply in classical theater and chose to use that training not for grandeur but for surgical restraint. Thematically, Sheldon represents the show's central argument, that the longing for connection is universal, even in people who have buried it under enough equations to fill a library. His arc from brilliant irritant to Nobel Prize winner and husband is, in the end, a story about the courage it takes to need someone. Before the show, Parsons had been quietly working in television and theater. Small roles in Judging Amy, A Turn in Garden State, the kind of resume that suggested a serious actor still waiting for the right room. After he found it, the awards came in waves. 4 Primetime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Comedy Series, a Golden Globe, and recognition from Forbes as the world's highest-paid television actor. He made the decision to end the series after season 12, describing it not as frustration, but as clarity, invoking in a remarkable interview the memory of his father, who died in a car accident in 2001, and asking himself what he would do if he only had 6 years left. He went back to the stage. The Boys in the Band on Broadway, Mother Play, Our Town. He narrated and produced Young Sheldon through its 7-season run, appearing on camera in the finale in 2024 as the older Sheldon one last time. In 2026, Jim Parsons is 53 years old, living largely in New York, married to graphic designer Todd Spiewak, whom he met on a blind date in 2002 and wed in 2017. By every account, his life is quiet, deliberate, and deeply chosen. Sheldon endures because Jim Parsons made intellectual arrogance feel like a wound, and the healing of it feel like grace. Leonard is the show's moral center in the way only a perpetually overlooked man can be. The experimental physicist who quietly understood everyone around him far better than they understood themselves, and who spent 12 years trying to believe he deserved the love that was standing across the hall. John Mark Galecki was born on April 30, 1975, making him 32 when the show began, in Brie, Belgium, to American parents. His father, a U.S. Air Force officer stationed there at the time. He was already a veteran when he walked onto that Pasadena set. His first acting credit came at 12, and he spent his teens and early 20s playing David Healy on Roseanne opposite Sarah Gilbert, a co-star he would quietly date in real life, a pattern that would repeat itself with his future Big Bang partner in ways tabloids found irresistible. What Galecki gave Leonard was a kind of watchful tenderness. Leonard was never the loudest person in any room. and Galecki played that quality not as defeat but as dignity. A man who heard everything, absorbed everything, and chose kindness anyway. The long-running romance with Penny worked because Galecki made the wanting visible without ever making it pitiful. Leonard represents something the show didn't advertise but consistently rewarded: the idea that being emotionally available is its own form of strength. He got the girl, he got the Nobel moment, and he got there by refusing to be anyone but himself. After the show, Galecki stepped back from the relentless visibility of stardom, a choice he has never seemed to regret. He reprised David Healy briefly for the Roseanne reboot and The Connors. He became a father. In a 2024 Architectural Digest cover story, he quietly revealed he had married Morgan Galecki, not announcing it, just letting it surface naturally. He has a daughter, Una Evelina, and a son, Avery, from a previous relationship. In 2026, Johnny Galecki is 51 years old, and by all signs, genuinely happy. Leonard endures because Johnny Galecki made steadiness feel heroic and longing feel like something worth surviving. Penny is the show's secret engine, the Nebraska girl with a dream deferred who became the neighborhood's gravitational pull, drawing 4 socially stunted scientists into something that looked, against all odds, like a family. Kaylee Christine Cuoco was born November 30th, 1985 in Camarillo, California, which made her just 21 years old when she first knocked on that apartment door. She was the youngest of the original 5 leads, and she was already a professional. Audiences knew her from 8 Simple Rules, the John Ritter family comedy that ended in grief when Ritter died suddenly during production in 2003. That experience, finishing a show that had lost its heart, gave Cuoco an understanding of what it means to hold a set together through uncertainty, and she carried that quality into every season of Big Bang. What Cuoco did with Penny, that the role didn't require but desperately needed, was make her funny on her own terms. The writing sometimes reduced Penny to a reaction shot, but Cuoco kept finding the specificity beneath the broad strokes. The particular way Penny says something cutting while meaning something kind, the physical comedy she never outsourced to the boys around her. Penny represents the show's subversive thesis about intelligence, that reading people, managing rooms, and building genuine human warmth require a kind of genius the whiteboards can't measure. After Big Bang, Cuoco built her own production company and delivered what many critics consider her best work, The Flight Attendant on HBO Max, which earned her a Golden Globe nomination and proved she could carry a thriller on her own. Her personal life moved through 2 marriages, Ryan Sweeting and Carl Cook, and emerged on the other side. In 2022, she met actor Tom Pelphrey on the set of Ozark and described the moment in an interview that became one of the most shared celebrity quotes of the year. "I heard his voice and turned around, and it was like my life was over, or just starting." Their daughter, Matilda Carmine Ritchie Pelphrey, was born March 30th, 2023. In 2026, Kaylee Cuoco is 40 years old, engaged, a mother, and still one of the most bankable women in television. Penny endures because Kaylee Cuoco made warmth look effortless, and then let you see, just often enough, how hard she was working. Howard Wolowitz begins the show as its most uncomfortable joke. The engineer in the turtleneck and the belt buckle, the mama's boy with the predatory one-liners, the one without a doctorate in a group that would never let him forget it. That he ends the show as perhaps its most quietly moving character is almost entirely a credit to the man playing him. Simon Maxwell Helberg was born December 9, 1980, in Los Angeles, the son of actor and comedian Sandy Helberg, which made him 26 when the show began and primed him with a deep understanding of how comedy works as both armor and confession. He'd trained at NYU's prestigious Tisch School and done small film and TV work before Big Bang, most notably a brief recurring role in Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. None of it hinted at what he was about to do. What Helberg gave Howard was emotional archaeology. Beneath every inappropriate comment was a fatherless boy performing bravado because no one had taught him another language. Helberg found the wound under the wardrobe, and he never let you forget it was there. Even when you were laughing, Howard became the show's beating heart in ways the premise never promised. He went to space. He found a woman who matched his energy, and then some. He lost his mother, an event that produced one of the series' most genuinely devastating scenes. And Helberg played all of it with a commitment that earned him a Critics' Choice Television Award. After the show, Helberg leaned into the unexpected. He starred opposite Adam Driver in Leos Carax's Annette in 2021, performed on Broadway in The Boys in the Band alongside Parsons, and continued to demonstrate that his range stretches far beyond Pasadena. He has been married to actress Jocelyn Towns since 2007, a marriage that predates even the show's first season, and they have 2 children together. In 2026, Simon Helberg is 45 years old. Howard endures because Simon Helberg made Insecurity feel this tender and Transformation feel this honestly earned. Raj is the show's romantic, the astrophysicist from New Delhi who could not speak to women unless alcohol was involved, whose longing for love ran deeper and more openly than almost anyone else in the group, and who ended 12 seasons still searching, still hoping, still beautifully, stubbornly himself. Kunal Nayyar was born April 30, 1981 in Hammersmith, London, and raised in New Delhi, which made him 26 when filming began, and gave him a specific cultural fluency the role required, and that no amount of acting training could have replicated. He studied business at the University of Portland before pivoting to theater, earning his MFA from Temple University, a journey that speaks to the circuitousness of finding the thing you're actually meant to do. What Nayyar gave Raj was the rare gift of making vulnerability masculine. Raj cried. Raj pined. Raj talked to his dog like she was his therapist. And Nayyar played all of it without an ounce of self-protection, creating a character whose openness made him the most relatable person in a group of supposedly relatable nerds. Raj represents what the show understood about loneliness, that it doesn't care how brilliant you are, and the only cure is the terrifying, humiliating, absolutely necessary act of reaching toward another person anyway. After Big Bang, Nayyar appeared in Trolls, voiced characters in animated series, and in 2025 played an Indian reimagining of Scrooge in Christmas Karma. In a quietly remarkable December 2025 interview, he revealed that he had for years been making anonymous donations to strangers' medical bills through GoFundMe, a detail that says more about who he is than any credit list could. He has been married to former Miss India Neha Kapoor since December 22, 2011. In 2026, Kunal Nayyar is 45 years old. Raj endures because Kunal Nayyar made the longing for love look so honest it hurt, and so funny it healed. Amy Farrah Fowler arrives in Season 3 as a plot device, a woman found online to prove Sheldon can function in a date-like scenario, and proceeds to become one of the most unexpectedly moving characters in the show's entire run. Mayim Chaya Bialik was born December 12, 1975 in San Diego, California, which made her 34 when she first appeared, and meant she came to the role carrying decades of experience that were anything but ordinary. She had been a child star in Blossom on NBC, a lead sitcom role that ran from 1991 to 1995, and then made one of the most unusual pivots in Hollywood history. She stepped away from acting entirely and earned a PhD in neuroscience from UCLA in 2007, the same year The Big Bang Theory premiered. That degree was not a publicity detail. It was the bedrock of what made her performance as Amy so precise. Bialik understood neuroscience from the inside, which meant Amy's jargon landed with a specificity that no coaching session could have produced. More than that, she understood what it means to be profoundly intelligent and profoundly lonely, to have pursued the life of the mind at some cost to the life of the body and the heart. What Bialik gave Amy was the particular ache of a woman who had spent so long without affection that she didn't quite know what to do with it when it arrived. Her friendship with Penny, her slow romantic unfolding with Sheldon, her dry self-awareness, all of it came from an actor who could simultaneously inhabit the comedy and honor the real emotion underneath. Amy represents the show's second-wave thesis, that the awkward ones don't just deserve love. They're actually, if you look closely, some of the most capable of it. After the show, Bialik hosted Jeopardy! During the extended search for a permanent replacement for the late Alex Trebek, a run that proved her intelligence translates as naturally to a game show podium as to a research lab. She directed the film As They Made Us in 2022. She has spoken openly about her divorce, her faith, and the years of navigating a Hollywood system that was not always kind to women who look like her. In 2026, Mayim Bialik is 50 years old. Amy endures because Mayim Bialik made the hunger for human connection feel like the most dignified thing in the room. Bernadette is the show's secret weapon, the soft-voiced microbiologist who turns out to be the most formidable person in every scene she occupies, a woman whose sweetness is genuine and whose steel is realer still. Melissa Ivy Rock was born June 23, 1980, in Marlborough Township, New Jersey, which made her 29 when she first appeared in Season 3 and 30 when she joined the main cast in Season 4. She had been doing stand-up comedy and small television appearances before Big Bang, including work on The Office, building the kind of precise comic instinct that looks effortless until you try to replicate it. What Rosh did with Bernadette's voice, that deceptively light, high register that could shift in a single syllable from sweetness to quiet menace, was create a character whose contradiction was her whole personality. Bernadette is genuinely warm. She is also, when the moment demands it, absolutely terrifying. The voice, Roch has said, came from a childhood spent in a household of loudness. She found the comedy in the contrast, and then she found the heart inside the comedy. Bernadette represents the show's argument that competence and love are not in conflict, that a woman can be the smartest person in her field, the most capable parent on the block, and still be the one who needs to be held sometimes. After the show, Roch starred in Night Court, the revival of the classic NBC sitcom, between 2023 and 2025. She has spoken with striking candor about experiencing a miscarriage before the birth of her daughter in 2017. Writing about it in Glamour, in a piece that resonated far beyond Hollywood, she and husband Winston Roch have 2 children. In 2026, Melissa Roch is 45 years old. Bernadette endures because Melissa Roch made gentleness and ferocity feel like the same thing, and proved they always were. Bernadette is the show's secret weapon, the soft-voiced microbiologist who turns out to be the most formidable person in every scene she occupies, a woman whose sweetness is genuine and whose steel is realer still. Melissa Ivy Rock was born June 23, 1980, in Marlborough Township, New Jersey, which made her 29 when she first appeared in Season 3 and 30 when she joined the main cast in Season 4. She had been doing stand-up comedy and small television appearances before Big Bang, including work on The Office, building the kind of precise comic instinct that looks effortless until you try to replicate it. What Roch did with Bernadette's voice, that deceptively light, high register that could shift in a single syllable from sweetness to quiet menace, was create a character whose contradiction was her whole personality. Bernadette is genuinely warm. She is also, when the moment demands it, absolutely terrifying. The voice, Roch has said, came from a childhood spent in a household of loudness. She found the comedy in the contrast, and then she found the heart inside the comedy. Bernadette represents the show's argument that competence and love are not in conflict, that a woman can be the smartest person in her field, the most capable parent on the block, and still be the one who needs to be held sometimes. After the show, Roch starred in Night Court, the revival of the classic NBC sitcom, between 2023 and 2025. She has spoken with striking candor about experiencing a miscarriage before the birth of her daughter in 2017. Writing about it in Glamour, in a piece that resonated far beyond Hollywood, she and husband Winston Roch have 2 children. In 2026, Melissa Roch is 45 years old. Bernadette endures because Melissa Roch made gentleness and ferocity feel like the same thing, and proved they always were. Stuart Bloom is the show's shadow self, the man who might have been one of the group if fortune had tilted a different way. The owner of the comic book store on New Hampshire Avenue, chronically broke, chronically unlucky in love, and possessed of a self-deprecating sadness so consistent it eventually became something warmer. The group's stray, adopted not by blood or circumstance, but by sheer, accumulated proximity. Kevin Sussman was born December 4, 1970, in Staten Island, New York, which made him 36 when Stuart first appeared, and meant he came to the role fully formed as a craftsman. He had trained with the legendary acting teacher Uta Hagen, earned his degree from the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and built a quiet career in supporting television roles, Ugly Betty, Small Turns Elsewhere, that gave him a thorough understanding of how to do a great deal with very little screen time. Stewart, originally conceived as a minor recurring presence, grew into something far more substantial. And Sussman, by his own account, helped tip that evolution himself. During his third episode, he improvised a line so perfectly attuned to Stewart's particular brand of quiet despair that the writers began building the character around it. What Sussman gave Stewart was the comedy of genuine pathos, not played for pity, but played for truth. Stewart doesn't perform his sadness. He just lives in it with a kind of dignified resignation that makes you laugh and wince at the same moment. He represents the show's most honest reckoning with failure. The reminder that some people fall through the cracks, not through any dramatic flaw, but simply because the world is indifferent. And staying kind anyway is its own form of heroism. After the show, Sussman worked steadily, a significant recurring role in Lessons in Chemistry in 2023, appearances in Better Call Saul and The Dropout, and then something remarkable happened. In the years since Big Bang ended, Stewart, the most overlooked character on the canvas, became the center of an entirely new universe. Stewart Fails to Save the Universe, a sci-fi comedy spin-off for HBO Max, premieres in July 2026, with Sussman leading a cast that includes Lauren Lapkus, Brian Posehn, and John Ross Bowie. Danny Elfman is composing the theme. The man who couldn't keep his comic book store solvent is now headlining a multiverse adventure. In 2026, Kevin Sussman is 55 years old. Stewart endures because Kevin Sussman made quiet failure feel recognizable, and then quietly redeemable. Mary Cooper is the show's theological counterweight, the East Texas evangelical who raised a genius she can't fully understand and loves him with a ferocity that embarrasses him and sustains him in equal measure. She is, in every scene she inhabits, simultaneously the funniest person in the room and the most genuinely devout. Laura Elizabeth Metcalf was born June 16, 1955, in Carbondale, Illinois, which made her 52 when The Big Bang Theory began, and meant she arrived carrying one of the most extraordinary careers in American theater and television. She was a founding member of the Steppenwolf Theater Company in Chicago alongside John Malkovich and Jeff Perry, a detail that deserves a pause because Steppenwolf shaped American stage acting for a generation. She had won 3 Emmy Awards by the time Chuck Lorre cast her as Mary, including her beloved run as Jackie Harris on Roseanne, where she had worked alongside a young Johnny Galecki for nearly a decade. What Metcalf brought to Mary Cooper was a refusal to condescend. A lesser performance would have played the character as a punchline, the ridiculous religious provincial baffled by science. Metcalf found the bedrock beneath the scripture, quoting, "A mother who genuinely believes she is doing right by her son, whose love is real, even when its expression is stifling." The comedy and the tenderness were never in conflict in her hands. They were the same thing. Mary represents the show's quietest argument, that the people who seem most at odds with reason are sometimes the people who love most unreasonably. And unreasonably is exactly what love requires. Metcalf's career has never slowed. She received an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress for Lady Bird in 2018. Playing a mother navigating her complicated love for a daughter who can't wait to leave. A role that felt like a cousin to Mary Cooper in all the ways that matter. She won an Emmy for her guest work in Hacks in 2022. On Broadway, she has earned 3 Tony nominations across a career of extraordinary stage work. Her daughter, Zoe Perry, inherited the role of Mary Cooper for Young Sheldon and its spin-off, meaning that across the entire Big Bang universe, this one character has been played by 2 generations of the same family. Television has rarely offered a more beautiful symmetry than that. In 2026, Laurie Metcalf is 70 years old, still working, and still one of the finest actors in American performance. Mary Cooper endures because Laurie Metcalf made faith and love and exasperation feel like 3 words for the same thing. Beverly Hofstadter is the show's most devastating joke, a psychiatrist and neuroscientist of formidable intellect who has spent her career mapping the emotional lives of others and remained in the process almost entirely unable to access her own. She is the reason Leonard spent 12 seasons quietly proving he was worth loving. And she is, in the hands of Christine Baranski, absolutely magnificent. Christine Jane Baranski was born May 2, 1952, in Buffalo, New York, which made her 57 when she first appeared in season 2. And she came to the role carrying a Juilliard education, 2 Tony Awards, and a career that had already established her as one of the most reliably extraordinary performers in American comedy and drama. Her Emmy win for Cybele in the 1990s, her Mamma Mia films, and from 2009, simultaneously with Big Bang, her career-defining run as Diane Lockhart on The Good Wife and its spin-off The Good Fight, a total of nearly 15 years playing one of television's most complex female characters. What Baranski gave Beverly was deadpan as a precision instrument. Every observation Beverly offers about Leonard's inadequacies, about Sheldon's neurology, about human sexual behavior, delivered over dinner with clinical detachment, lands because Baranski commits to the character's total sincerity. Beverly doesn't know she's being funny. That is the joke, and it never stops working. Beverly represents the show's examination of the damage that well-meaning coldness can do, and the way children spend their adult lives trying to understand the parents who built them, even the ones who built them imperfectly. Baranski has remained one of the most in-demand actors in America. Her role as Agnes Van Ryn in HBO's The Gilded Age, the imperious matriarch of old New York money, has given her another iconic character for a new generation of viewers. In 2026, Christine Baranski is 74 years old. Her husband, actor Matthew Cowles, died in May 2014, a loss she has spoken of with the quiet gravity of someone who loved a person deeply and knows what that means. Beverly Hofstadter endures, because Christine Baranski made the absence of warmth feel like its own kind of wound, and made you understand eventually where the wound came from. Leslie Winkle is the show's road not taken, the one relationship in Leonard's life that might have worked on pure intellectual parody, the scientist who matched him equation for equation, who saw through every social pretension in the room and called it what it was, and who found Sheldon Cooper almost as insufferable as the audience found her refreshing. Sara Gilbert. Born Sarah Rebecca A. Bowles on January 29, 1975, in Santa Monica, California, was 32 when she first appeared, and she carried with her a biography that was already richer than most. She had grown up publicly as Darlene Connor on Roseanne, the sardonic middle child of one of the most important American sitcoms of the late 20th century, performing opposite Galecki, who played her on-screen boyfriend David. Graduating to The Big Bang Theory meant reuniting with him in a new dynamic, and their shared history gave every Leslie Leonard scene a texture the audience felt without necessarily being able to name. What Gilbert gave Leslie was a woman who refused to be likable on demand. Leslie is blunt, competitive, and politically allergic to Sheldon's particular flavor of arrogance. She doesn't soften for the camera, and that refusal made her fascinating. One of the few characters in the ensemble who genuinely unsettled the status quo rather than accommodating it. The writers, by their own admission, eventually ran out of road for her. Gilbert has spoken about it without bitterness, acknowledging that Leslie's tendency to resolve conflicts quickly left the room without much narrative oxygen to breathe. She made a single guest appearance in the 200th episode and closed that chapter gently. Since then, Gilbert has been a creator and host of The Talk on CBS, a decade-plus television institution in its own right. She returned to The Connors, the Roseanne continuation, playing Darlene through to its conclusion in 2025, a character she has now inhabited, in one form or another, for nearly 40 years. In 2026, Sara Gilbert is 51 years old. Leslie Winkle endures because Sara Gilbert made refusing to be charming feel like the most honest thing in the room. Time did what time always does. It moved. The scientists of Apartment 4A did not stay young, and neither did the people who played them. They became parents, spouses, widows, and divorcees. They stepped toward stages and away from spotlights. They built production companies, earned doctorates, and quietly donated to strangers' medical bills. One of them made the decision that ended a 12-season run, guided by the memory of a father lost too soon. One of them, a voice heard for 8 seasons and never seen, died mid-story, and left a photograph on a refrigerator door that still faces the audience, even in an empty studio. Some kept shining, some fought private battles, and some are now gone. The world of Pasadena apartments and string theory whiteboards and Thai food on the couch, that world is frozen the way television always freezes things, permanent and accessible at any hour. But the people who built it have moved through their own equations, solved their own problems, and discovered, as Sheldon eventually did, that the variables no one can control are the ones that matter most. Which character meant the most to you? Was it Sheldon, whose slow opening was a decade in the making? Penny, whose warmth held the whole thing together? Or was it someone quieter? Stuart behind his counter? Or the voice that called from another room? Tell us in the comments below. And if you love celebrating the people behind the stories, subscribe to Retro Rewind and stay with us, because there are so many more stories left to tell.